My heart shattered into a million pieces. As I watched my baby boy step into the raging river, tears blinded me as I realized his sacrifice. Giving his life for his sister. Giving his life to stop my tears. No! No! My scream echoed through the air. His brave little smile hauntingly lingered on his face as the water swallowed him whole. My legs buckled beneath me. I would rather drown in myself than watch my child perish before my eyes. I'd rather die than let my child give his life for another. In this village of Kamwero sat curled between emerald hills and a wide, whispering river. The river had always been regarded as sacred, a mirror to the heavens and a keeper of secrets. It was where blessings were asked, curses cast, and truth baptized into silence. To be married in Kamwero without a daughter was like being stitched without a final thread. Daughters were seen as soft bridges between ancestors and tomorrow. A wife was only complete when she brought one into the world. That's why I was the village's wound. In my marriage of 10 years, I had not been able to bear a daughter. I had 4 sons. Strong, clever, helpful boys. But not one daughter. That would have been fine in any other place. But in Kamwero, it made me a symbol. Not of strength, but of misfortune. The whispers started when my 3rd son was born. "She's cursed," muttered Mori, the dried leaf seller, behind my back. 4 boys now. That womb forgot what it means to be sacred, hissed an aunt, folding her arm as if she was declaring a decree. At weddings, I was ushered away. If I was lucky to stay, I would be told to sit at the edge of celebrations, with my boys clinging to me like a wrapper, while the women danced and cast glances mockingly my way. "She shouldn't be here. A woman with no daughter can't bless a bride," they'd whisper. One day, at my own niece's wedding, a well-dressed aunt grabbed my wrist tightly and shoved me aside. As I tried to join the circle of women preparing the bridal blessings. "No offense," she said, "but the ancestors will be confused by your presence." I felt ashamed. I felt like my face was slapped hard. It's not as if I didn't want a daughter. But what could I do? That was when my own family stopped speaking to me. When my sister came of age, they would even hide her from me, such that I don't put my curse on her. One day, my own mother folded her arms at the family meeting and said, "What are you going to say? You know nothing about family. Sit down, Beatrice, don't embarrass us." My husband, Samson, wasn't gentle either. He had aged into frustration. Once full of love, now full of silence, he barely looked at me during meals. "Perhaps I chose wrong," he said to me one night after our 4th son was asleep. "If I don't see a daughter soon, Beatrice, we might need to change things." He? Change? I knew he meant divorce. He meant to shame me. It's my fault. I would cry. It's my fault for not being able to give a blessing to my family. Night and day I would be crying. Even when I am doing everyday work, I would be crying. One quiet morning, as I sat near the edge of my bed, tears slipping silently down my cheeks, my heart had grown tired. Tired of being shamed. Tired of the village whispers. Tired of waiting for the blessing they said I lacked. That's when my youngest son came to me, soft and determined. "Mummy," he said, wiping my tears with his small thumb, "I don't want to see you cry anymore. I'll do anything for you. So will you stop crying?" Such a sweet child. I kept wondering why the village believed only daughters were blessings or bridges in a family. As I looked at my son, I thought, sons too can be gifts. I held him close, my arms shaking, and we cried quietly together. That same day, the boy wandered through the village, overhearing aunties gossip near the market. "She cries every day at the river," one said, shaking her head. "Maybe she should offer a sacrifice. Blessings aren't free, especially daughters. Sacrifices must match the desire," another whispered. "Give something precious if you want something precious in return." The words buried themselves in his small heart. Something precious. The small boy wondered. What could he find that was truly valuable? Suddenly a memory sparked and he ran back to his house. He remembered his father's harsh words. Words he often threw at him and his brothers. "You're all useless. If only you were as precious as my goats. At least they bring money, give milk, and provide meat." That evening, with quiet footsteps and a brave heart, the boy took one of his father's young goats and walked toward the sacred river. He knew nothing of rituals or old traditions. He only knew his mother cried, and he wanted that to end. Back home, I realized my son had vanished. I and her 3 older sons combed every field and alley, calling his name. But he was nowhere. And my husband? He was seated uncaringly sipping his expensive old wine. Some villagers shrugged. "If he's lost, he's lost," one said coldly. "He's just a boy. It's not like he's a daughter." I couldn't take it. I collapsed to my knees in the street, begging for help. My voice had turned hoarse from calling. Then my husband Jameson noticed the missing goat. His anger erupted. "You're chasing a useless child while my goat is missing," he barked. "If you don't find it, Beatrice, our marriage ends today." Useless child. To him, our son meant less than a goat. Was my son truly nothing? I no longer cared about the town's beliefs. A human is a human, no matter what others believe. I stood tall, eyes steady, voice unwavering. "Then end it," I said, "because I won't stop until I find my son." Just as the sun started to dip behind the hills, an old man came to me. "I saw a boy down by the river," he said. "He had a goat with him." Without waiting, my other 3 sons and I ran towards the river. "My goat!" my husband shouted at me as I was running towards the river. "Make sure to save my goat." We reached the river's edge. And there he was, my youngest, waist deep in the water, pulling the goat gently by its rope toward the current. "Son!" I screamed, rushing forward. I couldn't bear it. Losing one child to gain another? No, I refused. I didn't care about having a daughter. I only wanted my sons. Without hesitation, I ran into the water. But just as I reached the bank, I saw my son slip and was pulled under. "No!" I cried, diving in after him. The water was wild, crashing around me. I couldn't see his face. I couldn't find his hand. So I screamed to the skies, to the river, to anything that listened. "Take me instead. I will give you myself. Just bring back my child." Silence fell over the water as I fought with the waters unprotected. Then, like breath returning after a long hold, the river pushed my son in my hands. And then it pushed us back gently to the shore. Wet, shivering, alive, I held him tightly, trembling as if the world might steal him again. My 3 sons gathered beside me as we cried. Time passed, and we decided to go back home. The walk home was quiet under the dusk sky, with the goat behind us. Months passed, and I became pregnant again. I felt an unusual energy within me, as if the river's spirit had finally heard my plea. I could feel it. I could tell. This one was going to be different. 9 moons later, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Amara. The villagers rejoiced with my family. My parents, sister, and family members all came back to congratulate me. The river seemed to smile with gentle ripples. Years went by, and Amara grew into a curious child. I noticed strange occurrences around my daughter. Toys would move on their own when Amara was near, and doors would slightly open as if an invisible hand touched them. But I didn't mind. Whatever she did, she was mine. She brought back the happiness I had lost for years. Whatever she was, I didn't care. But one day, when Amara was 6 years old, I witnessed the impossible. Amara had been playing outside, then suddenly vanished from sight. I frantically searched for my daughter, calling out her name, Then, Amara emerged from the wall of their hut, giggling as if playing a game. I was shocked, unsure whether to embrace my daughter or fear this unknown ability. As news spread, villagers avoided Amara, whispering that she was a spirit child or a witch. I had to protect my daughter, but even I struggled to understand Amara's power. Villagers turned against my daughter and me, fearing the unknown power. They demanded our family be punished for witchcraft. The village elder declared, Beatrice and her demon child must be burned alive to cleanse our village of evil. My husband, Jameson, shocked me by agreeing with the elder. Yes, my wife and child are witches. Burn them, save our village. I felt betrayed yet again for the second time. Even my parents didn't come out to say anything on my behalf. But my son stood by my side as we ran out of the village. We fled into the night, escaping the torch-wielding mob. 7 days passed and the village celebrated their supposed victory over darkness. Drums beat, people danced, and wine flowed like the river that once blessed their land. But the river goddess had other plans. Dark clouds gathered above the village, and a mighty roar echoed through the valley. The river burst its banks, swallowing the village whole. Water rushed in, sweeping away huts, people, and livestock. The village was no more. Only a vast, calm lake remained, a reflection of the river goddess's fury. Beatrice and her children watched from a distance, safe on higher ground. Just a favor to ask: if you have enjoyed this, liked the video and subscribed.